Hey everybody, what's up? It's time for our weekly, monthly budgeting meeting. Yay, the money one. It's exciting. So it's just me today, and I'm gonna just riff on you for a little bit and kind of prime you for what to expect every month as the group grows and as we are able to work together as a cohort to do our budgeting. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to tell you what you can expect in each of these monthly budgeting and goal setting workshops. And then I'm going to pull open the spreadsheet so I can just show you, quickly what it's going to look like and what you're kind of expected to create every month or every payday, or we'll talk about the different options for how you can record all of your expenses, and then we'll talk about pricing a little bit, and tell you about how you can kind of increase your pricing or adjust your pricing to more accurately meet your needs, right? Because that's what a lot of us are struggling with in general is, we have these needs. And I was just talking about this on my Instagram live. So if you are checking this out, go pop over to Instagram real quick and check this out. But so many times I end up meeting with people who sit down with me and they're feeling so much guilt and shame about their spending habits. And they're like, I know I need to be better. I need to be different. I need to change. And that's the very first thing that I want you to let go of. If you're feeling that right now, I want you to let it go because it's not serving you at all. Having guilt and shame about your spending habits is wasted energy, and it's holding you back from true financial freedom. Because the fact of the matter is, you are who you are and you want what you want. And that's a good thing. Your spending habits are what makes you unique. And the things that you buy and the things that you want around you and the experiences that you want to have in your life, those are special. Those are special to you. They're special to the people around you, to your community, your spiritual community. And I want you to lean into those things. I want you to create a life that speaks to you and makes you happy, and something that you want to wake up for. Because there's so many people, Dave Ramsey included, who think that in order to achieve your financial goals, you have to be gazelle intense and you have to eliminate everything that's fun out of your life. Oh no, I can't go to the movies, I'm on a budget. Oh no, I can't go to a concert, I'm on a budget. No, I can't buy new underwear, I'm on a budget. And it's like, it's fucking ridiculous. Pardon my French. But it is not conducive to a life, a happy life, right? Like, you have to use your money to make your life bearable and livable and fun and exciting and thrilling, because you are only on this earth for such a short amount of time in comparison. This earth has been around for millions and millions of years. The money that we use it's just a currency. It's just a trading mechanism. And when you have that currency, when you have that, that unit of measurement, you're able to trade it for something else, for a plane ticket or for a concert ticket or for a pair of shoes, or like whatever it is that's speaking to you today and right now. And if you feel guilt and shame in your heart every time you trade that currency away, then what kind of a life are you really living? That's not what we want. That's not what I want as your coach. That's not what you want as a human who's only on this earth for so long. None of us want to always feel guilt and shame. It's like cancer. It will get inside you and it will toxify your insides. So I'm here to tell you, when you're making a budget, when you're thinking about the kind of life that you want to live, you have to be flexible with yourself and you have to release that shame. The shame about spending, the shame about debt, old debt that you accumulated along the way. Let it all go. You know, if you're really deeply struggling with letting it go, then maybe it would be good to go to therapy and to get like specific strategies on how to forgive yourself. That's a whole thing that I went down. What a therapist told me is to literally say the words, I forgive myself. I forgive myself. And to feel gratitude for the negative experiences. So like I was just talking on Instagram Live about this. When I graduated college, I had 132,000 in student loan debt. And I felt so much guilt and shame about that because I didn't use it all for school. I used it to go on vacations and to buy stuff and to, you know, backpack around Europe. And so every time I made that payment, I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And the fact of the matter is, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be where I am today, period. I would be a different person. And I like the person that I am. And I've released that guilt and that shame. And yeah, making those student loan payments was hard. And I did have to make sacrifices along the way. But, you know, it all turned out the way that it was supposed to. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Your life has happened exactly the way that it's supposed to up to this point. And now when you forgive yourself for all those past traumas and you are able to move past them, then you can actually make a list of your expenses and your needs and your wants. And that's the important part here is your wants. What do you want out of your life? What kind of goals are you setting? What do you want to be able to afford, right? So that's the key mindset strategy that we have to move past in order to make a budget. If you are a musician and you need to upgrade your gear, we have to write that down, either as a savings goal or, you know, I never recommend using credit, but as a credit goal, there's, you know, a bunch of different ways to do it. So the very first thing I want you to do when you are creating your budget is forgive yourself for the stuff you want to spend. It's fine. I promise you, it is fine. If you want to work $50 a month of garbage or bullshit into your budget, that's fine. Go for it. Write it in there, but write it down because we want to plan for it, because we need your income to match your lifestyle choices, right? And that's one of the things about human nature is our lifestyle, our expenditures will always rise to meet our income unless we're very aware of keeping a lid on it, right? So with all that said, I'm going to pull up a screen. I'm going to do a little screen share here. I'm going to pull up a spreadsheet so I can show you a sample budget. I love you guys. You're doing great. I promise. All right, share screen. Sample budget. Ready? Go. All right, so this is my favorite way to budget because it is easy as pie. Here's what we're doing. First of all, we're opening a Google Doc. So if you use numbers or if you use Excel, that is completely fine. Whatever works for you. I literally don't care what Excel or spreadsheet you're using. You could even do it by hand if you want. But you're going docs.google.com, open up sample budget. And I'm going to put this into the community so you can access it there too. And then we are going to make a list of our paydays. Okay, so we got the payday column here. And let's say we got paid on 9/24. Okay, so first key to making an accurate budget is to write down everything that's coming in and out and what we started with. So the very first line is your bank balance from the day before. So look at your bank account, pull up either your online banking, or if you're doing this a month after, pull up your actual checking account statement and look and see what was my bank balance on 9/23, and write that down here. Because if that number is not accurate, then nothing else is going to matter anyway. Okay. And then make a list of all of your different income sources. And I would recommend that you name these, like gig at PJ's, for example, or royalty check received 9/26, for example, just, making stuff up here. And then every time you make a deposit or every time you earn money, we're going to write it right here in this spreadsheet. So we got all this top section is all income, and this all goes in as a positive number. Okay. And then if you need to pull from your savings account, that is also as a positive number right here in the transfer section. If you need more lines, you come over here and you right click, and then you go to insert one above. Okay. So go ahead, and even if they're, small checks, like I sold a packet the other day, it was $7. So I got like, $6.30 deposited into my account. So I would write 6 right here, because that's income, it's coming in. Okay, so that's the income section, and you have a couple options. You can just leave it like this, where it's not totaled, or you can go to the first income. You don't want to include your bank balance when you're adding up your income, because that's not income. It was leftover money from the month before, or the day before. So you want to go to the top line here and hold the shift button and then click the down arrow. And then you want to go to sum right here. And it's going to add it up. But now if you leave it there like that, it is going to calculate in the total. So we want to cut it and move it over here, so it's out of the way, and so it doesn't actually mess with your budget. That would show you having $1,000 more than you actually have, which would obviously cause a major problem. So make sure you cut that over to the side, or you could have, clicked the equal sign, type the word sum, hit the parentheses, and then gone here to here and hit shift, and then you close the parentheses. That's another option too. So that's showing me that I made $1,000 in the time between the 24th and the 8th, for example. Okay, so now we're going to prioritize our expenses. And here's how I like to prioritize them. You guys can do however you want, but this is what I usually recommend as a finance coach. 4 walls. 4 walls keep you safe. Your 4 walls are your lifeline. If you do not have a house, if you do not have electricity, if you do not have running water, you are going to be struggling to get to work. You're going to be struggling to have any kind of clear mindset in order for working. So I always do home, food, and then usually I do cars. After that, I usually would have cut TV and cable out because those are not a priority for me personally. But I want you to prioritize your budget by how important it is to you, but start with your 4 walls. Okay, so rent or mortgage, electricity, natural gas, water, trash, sewage, whatever else is in there for you. Food, groceries, you can add a line here for restaurants. Whatever it is that's actually what you spend. And that you remember the first part of this conversation, it's really important that you make a line item for the things that make you happy in your life. So if you know you're going to be going to Jimmy John's twice a week, write it in here. Jimmy John's. When I was working at Dime, I couldn't go a couple of weeks without getting Thai food. It has this amazing Thai restaurant right across the street. It was only $9 and I put it in my budget. I put Thai food right in my budget, $20 a month. And, and then I knew it was coming. If I ended up not going for some reason, I just had an extra $20. So make sure it goes in there. So all this money is going in as a negative number. Also, check out my friend Madeline's EP. She's adorable. Okay. Groceries. So a lot of people hit the grocery store every time that they need to make food. They don't want the food to go bad, so they're not going regularly. You can make multiple lines for this. So you can be like grocery 1, grocery 2, grocery 3. And this one's gonna be like 27. And this one's gonna be 52 or 53 or whatever. That's fine. But list them all out separately rather than trying to like add them all together, because you're less error prone that way. And you're able to see in a itemized line, how often you're spending money and how often you're going to the grocery store, and you're able to see like, maybe is there a more efficient way for me to be doing this? Okay, so next is phone. So you need a phone to have a job. So your phone should be pretty high on your priority list. However much that costs for you, whatever, whoever you're paying, write it right here. TV or internet would be next. Again, you need these things to have a job, so it's really important that you prioritize them. So this would actually be internet for me. We don't have cable through WOW. We only have internet, so I'm gonna actually change that. There you go. And it's actually like $70 a month for me. And it's different for everybody, of course. And if you have roommates, just a quick note, if you have roommates, I want you to write what you are paying, not the total bill. I want you to write what you pay a month, okay? Okay, so next you need your car to get to work, right? So in the priority list, your car is gonna be pretty high. If you have a loan, if you have insurance, and then how much you spend on gas. And this is another time when I want you to add lines in here if you're getting gas like multiple times. So, and then that's again to keep track, and it helps with tax purposes. When you're filing your tax return, it helps to look at how much gas you spent, how much you spent on gas, and see if it lines up with your mileage. Okay. Okay, so I put gifts pretty high, gifts and charity pretty high on this list because I believe in giving. And I think that it's really good karma. And then I also put gym in there really high because it's something that I think is really important for mental health. And then next would be work. So, I listed here some common categories for working, and this is stuff that's all deductible on the tax return. I want all your work stuff to be in one category, because then when it comes time for taxes, we can just pull this whole section right out and just look, we can just look at, we're going to just keep adding days here and here and here, and we're going to like squish these lines up. We're going to make these smaller like that. So when it comes time for work, we just cut that whole section, move it to a different spreadsheet, and then we know exactly how much you spent on work, and it's pretty easy, right? So advertising, that would be like Facebook or Instagram boosted posts, or if you spent anything on marketing in any way, it would go there. Commissions for any kind of manager or agent, anything like that. If you've had any insurance, if your business checking account, like if you have to pay like a fee, or if there's any kind of like overdraft charges, any subscriptions for your website or DistroKid, whatever, Canva, Adobe, there's all kinds of subscription fees. If you're paying for bookkeeping or legal fees, I'm gonna write legal in here too. Bookkeeping or legal fees would go here, and you just make a list. And a lot of these expenses don't come up all the time. So it's tough to budget for them, but if you know that they're coming ahead of time, then you can just pop it in there. It'll always be there, even if it's empty. And then, this is really just to get a clear picture of what's going on, right? Okay, repairs, travel, if you have to get your guitar fixed or amp, whatever. And then subscriptions that are not work. Okay, so technically Spotify is a personal subscription, not a work subscription. You could take half of it on your tax return if you are a performing artist, if it's something that you need. If you're subscribing to Apple Music, but you never listen to it, that could be a work subscription, stuff like that. Netflix is generally not a work subscription. I get that a lot in my taxes. And then last, you want to do your debt. And the reason that we're doing debt last is because we want to see how much is left over here. And this is the one that we want to have wiggle room with. You'll notice that I didn't put a savings in here. I want you to put a savings in here, but I want you to prioritize it wherever it goes for you. So if you are doing savings before you start giving money away, that's important. If you're doing savings after you pay off all your debt, that's fine too. But slip savings in there somewhere. I'm gonna slide it in here just so that it lives at the bottom. And okay, so what I see here, I'm gonna delete this out for a second. And I'm going to delete this. Actually, I'll leave the balance. Okay, so if I was planning my budget for the next 2 weeks, and it was September 24th, which obviously it's past that now, but whatever. Okay, so I wrote down everything that is going to be due. This is due on October 1st. This is due on, let's say, September 30th. Okay, so let's assume that everything here is due all at once. It's going to be brutal. It's a brutal month, right? We're $400 negative. That's what this is showing me. So I have two options. I can either earn $400 more, go back up here. Okay, so I can get 500 from a gig, or I can transfer from savings, or I can move some things around. So let's say the natural gas actually isn't due until the 15th. So we're gonna move it here because we don't have to do that right now. And the water actually isn't due until like November. So we're gonna move that way out here. And oops, I forgot to add my Jimmy John's. So let's say that we go to Jimmy John's every week and it's $11 each. So we're gonna do 44 here. Okay, so let's say that the Verizon bill is due on the 15th. So we're gonna move that to the 8th. Oops, I copied it instead of, there we go. All right, and then internet and let's say that the car payment actually isn't due until the 15th, but the insurance is due and it's a lot. And you know what? I know I'm gonna have another tank of gas on the 15th or around there. Oh, and mom's birthday was last month, not this month, but I carried it forward so I can delete that. Okay, Planet Fitness, let's say is due on the 15th. All right, you see what I'm doing here? So I'm moving stuff around, right? Because I don't want to transfer from savings if I don't have to. And now I have $11 left, okay? So let's say that the minimum on my credit card is actually only 45. Now you have a choice to make. Do you want to have a buffer where you have more than $11 left in your bank account? Do you want, and you go and only pay the minimum? Do you want to transfer from savings in order to keep your lifestyle where it's at? Or do you want to make more money? And that's the one that I recommend. I recommend you're like, okay, you know what? If everything happens exactly the way that it's going to, I'm only gonna have $11. So let's have a flash sale on my Bandcamp page, or let's pick up a backyard gig in somebody's house and play for tips, or let's go live and throw my Venmo up. You have so many different options for how you can pick up extra money. And that's what this spreadsheet is designed to show you, is everything that you're going to spend in a month moved around within the months that it's due, the days that it's due, where you're earning, and then it gives you the option to figure out how you're going to spend it. You can move everything around. And I want you to add in the categories that are important to you. That's your big takeaway here, is you are empowered to make these decisions. And nobody else has any control over this except you. This is 100% your life. And, I want you to feel like you're in control of it. So if you write down all your bills and you're like, shit, there's no way I can make that much money, then, maybe we need to have a talk. Maybe, book me for a one-on-one consultation. We'll figure out some different ways for you to make some extra money. Maybe you do DoorDash, or you drive Uber for a little while, or you do some Instacart shopping, or like something, but there are options for all this stuff. And laying it all out like this, there's no shame in this. I don't want you to feel any shame in, writing down your budget. So that's all I got for you today. This is the very basic beginning of budgeting. And we're going to dive into it more and more as time goes on. We're going to start looking at bank statements to make sure that everything actually came out the way that it was supposed to. We're going to start breaking down savings accounts and figuring out how to put money away. We are going to figure out different ways to save money on, if your electricity bill is like outrageous, we're going to talk about how to save on electricity. We're going to talk about ways you can save on insurance and ways that you can negotiate your debt. I think that's a super important one, because, if we could minimize here, then we would have $250 more every month. So as time goes on, as the group grows, we will be diving deeper into this, but this is really the foundation. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.